Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Star Citizen. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for a brand new Star Citizen video. And let's get this video started. So, welcome back to Day 3 of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Now, Day 3 is the day of Aegis Dynamics. So, as you guys can see on the map, there's a lot of ships. A lot of ships, lots and lots of ships. Now, Aegis Dynamics, I think, has the most amount of ships in Star Citizen. Now, Aegis Dynamics is just a military contractor, so they're exclusively military, a military contractor, meaning that they only build military ships. Now, some of their civilian ships, like the Giant, the Behemoth, that is the Reclaimer, might be dual purpose, so it is civilian, but it was created for the military in the first place. So guys, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. So immediately to our right, this is one of the best fighters in game. This is hands down one of the best fighters in game. This is the Aegis Saber. So the Aegis Saber is a stealth fighter, and it does what it says it does on the package. This thing is really stealthy. Very stealthy. You can make this thing super stealthy. Very, very close to the Eclipse. Now this thing, because it's stealthy, it has its advantages and of course its disadvantages as well. Now the disadvantages of this ship is that it doesn't have a lot of armor. It doesn't have a lot of armor, and if you try and make this thing ultra stealthy with stealthy components, you obviously will lose on the benefits of a stronger shield and stuff like that. So, but the thing is with this ship is that you can get really close to somebody without them even knowing that you're there, and just open up with your 3 fixed size 3 guns, or your, I should say 4. What am I saying? It has 4. It can equip 4 fixed size 3 guns, or 4 gimbaled size 2 guns. Yeah. So yeah, this thing is really, really nice. It's one of my favorite fighters of all time. I cannot recommend this thing enough if you're looking for a fighter. This is one of the best. This is one of the best. Really nice, really hard hitting, and you can equip this with 2 internally mounted size 4 missiles. So underneath the thing here, underneath the fuselage, there's an internal bay for missiles. So this thing is really, really nice. As a fighter, this thing is really, really nice. You can carry 2 size 4 missiles. Great fighter. Moving along. I don't want to make this video too long, guys. I don't think you guys are interested in watching these videos, these IAE videos, so I'm just going to keep it short. Now, this thing is the Saber Comet. Now, the Saber Comet is the exact same thing as the base Saber, except that it has a paint job and some out-of-the-box customized weaponry, like the Omnis guys. So, could I recommend this? No, not really, guys. Not really. If you're interested in the Saber, just go ahead and get the base Saber, and you can upgrade it to whatever you like. Now, very quickly, moving on to this crazy giant behemoth of a ship. I'm just gonna go third person, and we're going to take a walk alongside this giant of a ship. This thing is the Aegis Reclaimer. The Aegis Reclaimer is, guys, going to be one of the best ships in this game. So before I even talk about this ship, if you're interested in any sort of industrial gameplay in Star Citizen, if you're interested in creating salvage, if you're interested in looking for salvage, this ship is your ship. Now this thing, guys, will be a license to print money in this game. So any large industrial ship like the Reclaimer or the RSI Orion, these are money printing machines in the game. So the reason why I don't recommend a lot of fighters, I don't recommend you guys wasting your money on ground vehicles, is that you can save up and buy one of these. Now, I already own one. Of course I'd own one. This thing is absolutely amazing. It looks very cool. Now, I've done a video on this long time ago. Like back in the 3 point something days when this thing was just added into the game, I did a video on it. But back then, I wasn't really good at making videos. Some of you might argue that I'm still not good at making videos, so I can go ahead and take another look at this thing if you guys want me to. If you want me to, let me know. I've got a Reclaimer, and we can take it out for a spin. I can give you guys a much more detailed look at the Reclaimer and what it's supposed to do. But this thing, keeping the long story short, this thing is a salvage ship. It is designed to salvage wrecks of larger ships. Now, this thing is so big. It is literally crazy. Just have a look. If we go third person, this thing is like a 7-8 story building. It is absolutely crazy. It has like 5 stories inside. It's got like 2 elevators, 2 or 3 elevators. And guys, inside of this ship is so Nostromo. You know the ship from the Alien? Ripley's ship? This is that. This is 100% the Nostromo. It's so good. This, I cannot stop praising this ship. Like if I kept going, I'd talk for another 3 hours just about the Reclaimer. Look at this giant claw. This giant claw is for you to be able to grab onto large ships. So this thing could cut a javelin into pieces in a matter of hours. If you come across a javelin wreck, if you come across an Idris wreck, if you come across, you know, some large wreck, this thing is designed to cut it into pieces and to chew it up into pieces and then sell it and to make a large profit. Now look at those lights, those searchlights, those like what do you call them? Those beam lights are designed to move and pivot to give you maximum amount of light where you need it. And here's the cockpit. So yeah, let me know if you guys want me to do a special Reclaimer video. So moving on, guys, that's being the Reclaimer. An absolute giant of a ship that I can't recommend enough if you are interested in the industrial gameplay of Star Citizen. And of course, if you have a bunch of friends, or if you're willing, if you have one of these ships, if you're willing to work with other people in game, if you're willing to hire a crew, you're definitely going to get a crew. This thing will be really, really popular once salvage is going to be implemented into the game. And salvage gameplay is just around the corner. Just around the corner. Probably in 1 or 2 quarters we'll have salvage in game, but of course it won't be Reclaimer salvage. It will be handheld, you know, hull scraping, or the other ship, the Vulture, the Drake Vulture type of. Alright guys, welcome to Site Hole 1. Here is the Eclipse. Here is the Aegis Eclipse, guys. So the Aegis Eclipse, I've already done plenty of videos on the Eclipse. This thing is great at what it does. It's a stealth bomber. That's just it. This thing is just a stealth bomber. Now, it doesn't have any air-to-ground weapons per se. It's more like a stealth torpedo ship. So this thing can carry 3 size 9 torpedoes underneath the bomb bay here. So this thing opens up and it can carry 3 size 9 torpedoes, massive torpedoes. And you can pretty much take out an Idris in like 6 torpedoes. In like 2 reloads, pretty much you can take out an Idris. So this thing is great at what it does, but it only does one thing. And that is to throw torpedoes. This thing is designed to be super stealthy, and it is stealthy. It is the stealthiest ship in game. You can literally be as close as 2 kilometers, 2 to 2.5 kilometers next to another player, and for them not to see you. This thing is crazy. It's a ninja ship. But that kind of gameplay gets old. It gets old real quick. People used to use this for bounty hunting, and it was great at that. It was great at that when the missile rework hadn't been done. But now the size 9 torpedoes kind of act like size 9 torpedoes. The torpedoes do what they meant to do, and that's to go after large targets. So they're not really good for hitting, you know, moving small ships, highly agile ships that, you know, move. They can dodge the torpedoes really easily. So This thing, yeah, it's very difficult to recommend. Very, very difficult to recommend, but it's extremely fun, and it does what it says it does brilliantly. So if you're after a sneaky ship, if you're after a stealthy ship that can, you know, pack a punch, definitely go for this. But I will say this thing is a little bit too pricey. So for a single seat bomber, stealth bomber, this thing costs $300. The Reclaimer, guys, is only $400. So who would pay $300 for this and not pay an extra $100 and get a Reclaimer? I mean, once you get the Reclaimer in-game and then you have this in-game, the Reclaimer in-game will cost probably like 10 times the Eclipse. I mean, it's absolutely a no-brainer. But unless, of course, you're really interested in that kind of gameplay that the Eclipse provides, then sure, by all means, go for it. And here is the Retaliator. So all of you have probably heard of the Retaliator over and over again. This thing is a bomber. This thing is supposed to be the Star Citizen equivalent of the B-1 bomber. So it even looks like the B-1 bomber. But I regret to inform you guys that this thing doesn't really fly like a B-1 bomber. Now, a B-1 bomber is supposed to be, you know, flying really, really fast, supersonic, close to the deck, you know? But this thing isn't really that fast. It's not really that fast. It carries a good payload. It can carry 6... I think it's either 6... Yeah, I think it's 6 size 9 torpedoes. Now that we have bombs in games like air-to-ground ordnance, this thing should be able to carry bombs as well. But the Retaliator, I've never really fancied owning a Retaliator, but I can see it being useful. It was really useful in Xenothreat. This thing was the ship to have in Xenothreat, because obviously this could take out the Xenothreat Idrises really, really quickly. So one Retaliator could pretty much knock out an Idris by itself with the 6 size 9 torpedoes. So get this ship if you're interested in that kind of a gameplay. Obviously, as I said, this is going to have bombs as well. And there are some plans for some extra modules within the ship, you know, so you can turn it into a drop ship, you can turn it into a transport, you can swap out the bomb bay for various different things. But if you're interested in a single seat bomber that can, you know, put some crew into turrets, or, you know, just use it as a single seat bomber, that's really up to you. But I can't really recommend this ship. I can't really recommend it. Although it could be fun, but I can't really recommend it. It's really slow. It's really, really slow. It's a little sluggish, so can't really recommend it. But of course, you can have that multi-crew experience with your friends sitting in the turrets. Now let's go ahead and get to the sight hole number 2. Alright guys, welcome to sight hole number 2. And here are the Vanguards. Some of the best ships in game. Unfortunately, with the Redeemer coming out, and I have a video coming out on the Redeemer very, very soon, the Vanguards just lack a rework. The Vanguards really need a rework, guys. Like how the Redeemer was reworked. Like if you guys don't know about that, you can watch my video that's coming out. The Redeemer was reworked really nicely, and I just hope that the CIG developers would take another look at the Vanguards, at all of them, and try and give it a nice rework like the Redeemer. Not to turn it into a Redeemer, but to give it a really nice, thoughtful rework on this ship. Now there are 4 different variants of this thing. So this one is the Harbinger. This one is the Harbinger. This is the missile carrier. This is the ground attack version of the Vanguards. This will be the most heavily armored one. Now, armor isn't in game yet, but when it is, these ships, these Vanguards, will be really, really nice. So the Vanguards, I've already have a video out on them. If you guys are interested in that, you can go ahead and watch that. The Vanguards can carry a fixed size 5 gun here underneath the chin, or a gimbal size 4, as you guys can see here. And also it has 4 fixed size 2 guns. So the stuff in the nose, the guns in the nose, are size 2s, and they're fixed. Now the Harbinger variant, obviously, as I said, is a bomber type thing, fighter bomber, a long range fighter bomber type thing. It can carry 3 size 5 missiles and a bunch of size 2 and size 3 missiles and size 4 missiles. So you can see the torpedo bay here. These are the size 5s. Now size 5 missiles don't really do much, guys. Don't really do much. But the essence of the Harbingers is that it is supposed to be a heavy fighter that allows you to stay out in the middle of space for extended periods of time. That's the essence of the Harbingers. Now there is another variant over here. This one, I believe, is the Hoplite. Yes, this is the dropship version. So this one can carry some troops. It can carry some troops with none of the torpedo bay functionality of the Harbinger, and that's about it. Now this thing can carry six troops with rifle racks for their rifles and everything, and of course a turret as well. All of them have a turret. So personally, I would really like to see these things upgraded, like reworked, changed. The design on this ship is really old, but it's something that is needed. If you think about a system like the Pyro system, you need a ship that can go out there and stay out there for extended periods of time without having to come back to resupply and rearm. Now this is the base version of the Vanguard. So this is the original, this is the OG Vanguard, and this thing is the Vanguard Warden. This is the Warden. This is supposed to be the base fighter version of the Vanguards, and to be honest, it's exactly the same as the other ones, except for this thing doesn't really have a speciality. It's just basic. That's what it is. It's just basic. It doesn't really have any of the added functionality that the other ones have. So yeah. And here is the last variant of the Vanguard series of ships. This is the electronic warfare version. This is the Sentinel. Yes, I just forgot the name, the Sentinel. So yeah, Sentinel. This is the E-warfare hacking EMP/type variant. Very similar to the other ones in aesthetic. Very similar in terms of weaponry, but of course it has the ability to, I think, to launch EMP missiles or to set off an EMP charge, and later on it will be able to hack stuff, maybe, possibly. Who knows? That kind of gameplay is far away. But in conclusion, if I were to recommend one of the Vanguards, it will be the Harbinger. Absolutely the Harbinger. Look no further than the Harbinger, and that's the most expensive variant of all the other three. Now, after the Harbinger, I'd probably recommend the Warden, the base Warden. So this thing, as I said, the essence of this thing is a heavy fighter that can fight both large ships and small ships and can stay out in space for extended periods of time. So if I were to recommend one, it would be the Harbinger. But just know that there are better ships out there as heavy fighters now, since the Aegis Star fighters are out. The Aegis Starfighter guys will chew through this thing in a matter of seconds. In literally, like, I have a video out, if you guys want to go check it out on my channel, of me going up against Vanguards in the Ares Ion and Inferno in Arena Commander, and literally the Ares Ion will take out a Vanguard in 2 shots with a size 7 gun. The Ares Starfighters are true heavy fighters. Vanguard, as I said, armor isn't implemented in the game yet. So if armor is implemented into the game, they'll probably be a little bit more tougher to break through. Like, you can just see the profile. It's heavily armored, right? It's tanky. It's strong. But it definitely needs a rework. Like the gun selections, for example, the size 2s, those are old. Those are from the days of Star Citizen, where we only had a couple of fighters, right? Things have changed. And the Vanguard needs to be upgraded, to be honest, guys. But if I were to recommend one, I'd recommend the Harbinger. Alright, guys, welcome back to hull number 3. This is the side hull number 3. And here we have an interesting selection of ships. So this is the I'm about to say Vanguard. This is the Aegis Gladius. So this is the Aegis Gladius, the quintessential, really nice looking, super duper F-22 looking F-18 type looking dogfighting ship. So this thing is the quintessential dogfighter in Star Citizen. This thing is an absolute joy to fly. This thing flies so beautifully and it looks so good. Like, honestly, I'd just buy one. I used to have one. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. But I'd probably just buy one just for the aesthetics. Look at this. This is so FA-18. This is so F-16 and probably even F-22. This looks so good. And it's really nicely armed too. So you can equip up to 3 size 3 guns. And of course, you can equip up to 4 size 3 missiles. Really nice ship. Really nicely maneuverable. And it's recently had its gold pass done. So it's pretty much it has the most bells and whistles out there of all of the ships in Star Citizen. So this thing is really nice. It's a really nice fighter. It handles really nicely. But do I recommend you guys go, spend your $90 on this ship? I think it's $90. I know, again, I've explained this why. I can't really recommend you guys waste your $90 on this thing. Unless, of course, this is the ship that you must have. This is the ship that you love and you really want to just, get into dogfights, then by all means, this is a great ship. If you're looking for a dogfighter, a really agile, really light dogfighter, this is the ship to get, in my opinion. This is better than the Anvil Arrow. Moving on to the Vanguard. I'm saying Vanguard again, guys. This is the Gladius. This is the Gladius Valiant. Yes, this is the Valiant. So this is, again, just an upgrade of the base Gladius. So is it worth it? It's up to you guys. It's up to you guys, really. It just has a I think a slightly changed paint job and some extra components. That's about it. It even looks like the normal Gladius. So I'd probably just go with the normal Gladius, but it's up to you guys. It's up to you guys. And here is this giant of a ship. This is the Aegis Hammerhead. So the Hammerhead, guys, is the Star Citizen's equivalent of a flagship. Not a flagship, a flak-ship. So in World War II, the navies of the various different countries would design ships that were specifically created and designed to be anti-fighters. So these ships would go out and sail closer to the other ships to provide air cover against, dive bombers and torpedo bombers and stuff like this. This is an anti-fighter Corvette, pretty much, in Star Citizen. This thing is designed to chew through fighters. So if you have one of these, and then you have a Polaris, and then you have a Perseus, then you have an awesome combination of 3 ships that can support one another. So this thing's job, as you guys can see, this thing has, I think, 6 turrets, each armed with 4 size 4 guns. Yes, 4 size 4 guns. This thing is insane. If you get close to this thing in a fighter, this thing can tear through your shields and your armor in matters of seconds. In seconds. This thing does what it says it does amazingly. So that's 2 turrets on the left, 1 turret here on the back, 1 on the top, and 2 on the right. This is an amazing ship. This is an amazing anti-fighter ship. And if you have larger ships, if you have like a Kraken, if you have a Javelin, if you have a Polaris, a Perseus, whatever, pair it up with one of these. Buy one of these and keep one of these in your fleets. And this thing will protect you from fighters. This thing will protect you from fighters. But of course, this is a large multi-crew ship, guys. So it's going to be very expensive. It is very, very expensive. And also, this thing isn't for just one person. So if you buy this thing, you need a minimum crew of like 6 or 7, right? 6 or 7 crew members to come in and fly with you. So, as I said, this is best used in a fleet. So if you have a large org, then yes, this is the ship for you. Well, when you have multiple capital ships, when you have a few different capital ships, this will be your fighter protection, your fighter screen type of a Corvette. So do I recommend any of the ships here? The Gladius, if you're really looking for a dogfighter, and of course the Hammerhead if you have other capital ships that needs protecting from fighters. Alright guys, welcome to hull number 4, side hull number 4. So let's go ahead and start in the middle. This is the newly released Aegis Redeemer. So if you guys want to know more about this, I should have either released it or I'm going to release a video on my channel going through this thing in detail, giving you guys the background to this thing. So this was designed by the backers. Just a long story short, this thing was designed by backers. It was horrible. It wasn't up to metrics and all that, so CIG had to go back and redo the whole ship, but they tried really hard to keep the whole look and aesthetics of the ship, and they've done a great job, and they've done, in my opinion, one of the best reworks of any ship in the game. This thing is amazing now compared to what it used to be before. And in just, just a couple of words, this thing is a heavy support ship. It's not a heavy fighter, it is a heavy support ship that can, drop in some special forces into a particular location, stay up top and cover those forces until they get the job done. In my opinion, this thing would be a great bounty hunting ship. Pair this with two Avenger Stalkers or a Cutlass Blue, and you have an amazing bounty hunting combination. So yeah, this thing is great at that, and we'll leave it at that. If you guys are interested, you guys can go and watch that video. And moving on to one of the best ships in this game, guys. This is the Aegis Avenger. Hands down, one of the best ships in game. This is, in my opinion, the best starter ship for anyone out there that is looking to get into Star Citizen. Now, I've said this before in the previous days, you need a starter ship and a starter package, and the Aegis Avenger is available with a starter package. So you can either get the Avenger Titan or the Avenger Stalker. Now, what is the difference? The Stalker is a bounty hunting version, so this thing comes with stasis pods. So basically prisoner pods that allow you to keep your bounties alive before you drop them off at a prison. So this is the bounty hunting version, but this is the ship that I recommend, guys. This is the Titan. This is the Titan. So no prison cells in here, and more cargo room. So this, in my opinion, is the best starter ship in game. You get a bed, you get some cargo space, and you get an amazing fighter, guys. You get a really nice fighter. You get a fighter that can do it all, pretty much. You have a bed. This is going to be a huge asset in Star Citizen to have a bed. This thing is small and nimble enough to dogfight. It has room for cargo. It is everything that you need to start in Star Citizen, to get into Star Citizen. So this is the ship that I would recommend as a starter, the Avenger Titan. Hands down, one of the best ships ever. I own one, and I will always own one, because you always need an Avenger Titan. Moving on, guys. Here's an upgraded version of the Avenger Titan. This is the Renegade. Avenger Titan Renegade. Again, just like the other ships, it just has an extra paint job and a couple of extra components and different weapons. If you're into that, you can buy that, but I just recommend the base Avenger. And here's the Avenger Warlock. So this one is an EMP variant of the Avengers. This thing just has a spinning EMP at the back. Basically, you can set that EMP off next to a ship, disable its components completely, shut it down, and then use other ships to attack it or board it or do whatever you like. I don't know, I really can't recommend this one. It's a very specialty. It's a very novel type of a ship. Unless, of course, you're looking for that particular type of gameplay, I can't really recommend the Warlock. But I 100% 100% recommend the Avenger Titan or the Avenger Stalker as well if you're interested in bounty hunting. But the Redeemer, the Aegis Redeemer, if you're looking for a heavy support ship, that ship is amazing. That ship is amazing, but it's not a fighter, and you should never, ever, ever try to one-man the Aegis Redeemer, because, guys, this thing cannot turn. It has zero maneuverability, and I'm not going to speak about this anymore. You guys can go ahead and watch my video on that. Alright, guys, here we are at the holo table. So this is the underneath. This is underneath the showroom. This is where ships which aren't finished in the game, which aren't ready in the game, are displayed in holo tables. So this is the Aegis Nautilus. This is a mine lane Corvette. So this is going to be the same size as a Polaris. So this is going to be the same size as a Polaris, but this thing can do one thing, and that is to lay mines. So again, this is a very, very special ship, a very unique multi-crew capital class type of a ship. This thing will have a really high, really high fear factor. If people know that there's a Nautilus about, if people know that a Nautilus might have laid mines somewhere, this is going to be very, very scary. Because a mine is a small thing, and you're moving in your ship at thousands of meters per second, you can run into a mine and that'll be it. So this thing will be very interesting to play. Let's just say that. Moving on, guys, this is the Aegis of Vulcan. So this is the starter tier repair and rearming type of a ship. So this thing is designed to go out and help rescue stranded ships. It can deploy some drones, it can give you some fuel, it can repair you, it can rearm you. So if you're interested in that kind of a gameplay, this is not a bad ship. In fact, it might be a good ship because you can make a lot of money. You know, offering to repair and to rearm ships for a cost. Of course, you can charge a premium if you're in a system like Pyro. So not a bad ship, not a bad ship at all. It's not in game yet, but it's a little bit too pricey for a starter, you know, type of a ship. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Day 3 of the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. This has been the Aegis Dynamics Day. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.